Welcome back to Repair, Restore, and Resell. Today I'm working on this Ford LGT 14D diesel tractor. Working on the front PTO drive. What happens is when the yoke is hooked up to the snowblower, as the snowblower is raised and lowered, the PTO shaft with the U-joints on it has to slide in and out of the yoke on the drive yoke on the snowblower. And if the drive yoke doesn't move easier than the PTO shaft here, then it pulls the PTO shaft instead. The PTO shaft is not supposed to be able to ride forward and backwards. And then what happens is it throws the belts get damaged, and you got a lot of aggravation. And when I got this tractor, it was like this, and I really wasn't aware of it. I could see that the belts were in need of replacement. They're pretty shot, and I've got 2 new belts on it now that haven't even been used yet. But when we got a snow about a month ago or something, I took this out and tried to use it, gave it a test drive in the snow, and it threw the belts 4 times. So I just parked it and got out the snowblower and finished up with the snowblower. So now I've started looking into what in the hell's going on with this. I ordered the new belts. I got the new belts in, and then I had to spend some time searching around the internet. I found a great site for that has all of the illustrated parts lists and parts diagrams for this tractor, very nicely detailed. I'll put a link to that in the description. And if you make use of that, you should buy something from them, at least a oil filter or something, to say thank you for taking the effort to post all this information for us. So in any event, what's happening is that this is riding in and out, and let me just pop the belts off there, and I'll show you why. Okay, so down here there's a bearing in the front axle frame, and what's supposed to be going on is the PTO shaft is supposed to go through that bearing, and on the back side of that bearing there's supposed to be a snap ring, so the shaft is captured in that bearing, and the bearing is captured in the boss and has a snap ring to keep it in there. So that snap ring, the internal snap ring, is missing. The outer snap ring was on the shaft, but it was so worn out that the snap ring wouldn't stay in the groove, so I've got new snap rings for it, and I'm putting those on. So I've got to get the snap ring off that retains that bearing, pull the bearing out, assemble the bearing onto the shaft, put the whole thing back in there, and get the snap ring back in there. Okay, let's see if we get that snap ring come out of there. I had to switch my snap ring pliers from external to internal. There's the snap ring. I guess something to get that bearing to pop out of there. Okay, so I've got a bearing slide hammer here, and I can't, the bearing, it's a little overkill. The bearing is small, so I can't get the 3 jaws in, so I'm just using 1 jaw to get this out of here. The bearing's in there pretty tight, so there we go. Okay, so I got the bearing out, and behind the bearing I found the remnants of the snap ring that was supposed to be in there. So that just proves that the illustrated parts breakdown was correct. So now I've got to get this reassembled, put the shaft back in there, get the front snap ring on here, which goes here. Oh, it's already on here. I gotta take it off to put this all together. So the rear snap ring has to go in. The bearing's got to go in, and then this pulley has to go on, and then it's got to be captured by this outer snap ring. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so I've got my inboard snap ring on here, the one towards the back of the tractor. This bearing has a open side and a shielded side. The open side goes in because it faces a well, and at the bottom of the underside of the tractor there's a grease nipple there to grease this bearing and its mating one on the back side of the pivot. So now we've got to get this back in there and captured by the snap ring that holds the bearing in. And once that's on there, then I can put the dual sheath pulley back on and put the snap ring that retains that. And then I can get the belts on and hopefully take it for a little test drive and see how it does. Okay, so here's the snap ring that retains the bearing. This is the outboard snap ring that keeps the double sheath pulley captured, and this is just a offset screwdriver. I was able to use that to push a piece of shop towel into the groove for the snap ring and clean all the crud out of the groove so that that snap ring can seat itself in there fully. And then these here are just a couple pairs of reversible snap ring pliers that I'm using. You just flip around the dial in the center and they change from internal to external or vice versa. So I'm going to get this bearing back in there and the shaft back in there, and get the pulley back on there, and that outboard snap ring on the shaft. Okay, so I've got the front PTO reassembled. I didn't bother filming it because with me trying to get the snap rings in place, you wouldn't have seen anything other than my sleeves anyway. So that's all set. I'll get the belts back on here. And we'll go from there. There was somebody else had this identical problem. I seen on one of the forums, but there was no responses. I think that was in 2014 or something maybe. I'd have to go and look, but I'm not going to look because the crappy forum that was listed on. They've got way too much advertising and nonsense. That's probably why nobody goes on there. But the guy had the same problem that with the same model tractor that it was throwing the belts, and he was trying to get some information on why. I looked around too, and I didn't see anything to tell him why it would do that. So, and I looked around for the information on it, but this was there weren't as many of these diesel tractors made as the gas models, and they're different a little bit, I guess. So and this other keeper, I've got to take that off and straighten it out. Okay, I guess that's we're gonna leave it there for this segment. It's working. I think I need to do a little belt adjustment, tighten up the belt a little bit, just slightly. When I got into some heavy slush out there, I started smoking a little bit, but it was heavy slush. And then when I went a little slower into it and let it process it, it did all right. So you know, it is what it is. But I gotta get the side panels put on it, the front panels put on it, change the oil, this, that, and the other thing. So for right now, it's doing good, and I'm really happy to have this that problem straightened out. I wasn't aware of that problem until I used the snowblower this year. So I had this last year, but last year we didn't get any snow. We got one little 3 or 4 inch storm, and the next day or something it melted. So anyway, we'll get into more things on this. You know, it's a nice tractor. It's an interesting project. I think I've got a buyer for it. I've got to reinforce the running board steps. You know, it's a 1987. It needs a little attention. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great day. I'll see. Hopefully, you'll be watching the next video.